have learned about how do we create a class and all that. In that class, in that company, you have couple of things that you do, right? So I want you to create a function where you are going to get your entire week salary. Like you have to provide how many days that you are working in a week and how many hours that you are working in a day. You have to provide these two values, and after that the function will return out your pay for the week. This is your challenge. You are working $7 per hour, you are working 8 hours a day, and you are working 5 days a week. So I want you guys to create this function. If you can't find the solution, I'm going to create a function which can calculate all of these things. So this is basically a simple thing. We're going to create a new function. Let's call this calculate salary along with parentheses and an open close bracket. So now in over here we wanted to have two values. The one value is called working hours. So for that we are going to have an integer value. Let's call this num, because num is same as integer, right? One value called hours and another value is called days in a week. How many days that you are working in a week. So for that we are going to call this week. Hours times whatever you are earning per hour. So we are earning $7 per hour. So that is the reason we are going to place 7 over here. And whatever the value after we have into 7, whatever the value that we are going to get, we wanted to store it onto a local variable. So what do we call this local variable? A day pay, right? So for that we are going to call this variable. So variable earn in a day. So whatever the value that is going to come out from this will be stored onto this variable that we have locally created. We have got what is that we are earning for a day. So now we wanted to see how much we are earning in a week. So for that, whatever we are earning in a day has to be multiplied by days in a week. How many days that you are working in a week. So for that, earn in a day times days in a week. So whatever the value that we are going to get from these two values combined, we wanted to store it in a variable called week pay. So whatever we are earning, we'll call that week. We wanted to see how much we are earning per week. So for that, we are going to use a print statement, and after that, your pay for the week is, and after that use a string interpolation. So we have some errors right now. So we'll fix that error. We have learned about parameters and how do we follow that. We're going to replace these values over here. So we are going to have, let's call this variable hours and let's call this variable days week. We have these two values. Now we can go ahead and remove these values right now. So we wanted to access this functionality in our main application, which is right over here. So whenever you are calling a class, what do? You create an object, and after that you call the class, right? So for now, we don't need to create an object. This is a function. You can directly just go ahead and calculate salary, just call it up. So as you see over here, we have one positional argument which says we have to provide how many hours that we are working. So we are working 8 hours a day, so we are going to provide 8. And how many days we are working a week? We are working 5 days a week. So we have provided these two initial values, and so we are going to end the statement, run this application, and see the output. Pay for the week is $280. We wanted to take it one step further, and we wanted to see how much that we are earning in a month. So how we can do that? Before doing that, I just wanted to show you something. This is what we call positional arguments. We have provided the hours right over here. We have provided the week over here. If you wanted to take this to a name parameter, all you have to do is use curly brackets, open and close. So now this has become name parameter. You have to just go ahead in your function, and after that use, if you are on Windows, just use control space and you'll get this option called days in a week. How many days that we are working? We are working 5 days in a week. And after that, separate that again with a comma. Use control space again in order to see another value. If you are on a Mac, use command space. We are left with hours. So now we are going to provide how many hours that we are working. We are working 8 hours a day. So we have provided this initial values. Now we are going to hit run. As you see, we have successfully changed from positional argument to named argument. So this is how you basically write positional argument and named argument. So next is that you wanted to find out how much that you are earning in a month pay, right? So it is basically a simple thing. So whatever you are earning in a day has to be times 21, because there are 21 working days in a month. So whatever the output you are going to get from these two values, we wanted to store it into a new variable. Let's call this variable month. So now we wanted to print out this value as well, and we wanted to see how much we are earning in a month. So it's basically a simple thing. We'll just replace some values over here, and after that just replace this value right over here and save this again, and I'm going to run the application again. So my pay for the month is 1176. If you notice something out here, we have two types of functions. The first function which returns nothing out, as in this case we are not returning something. When earn in a day is multiplied by days in a week, we are getting some value which is storing on this value. So this program is returning something out, but it is returning something out internally. So that's the reason this function is returning nothing out, but we are printing out the value directly over here. So now what we wanted to do is that we wanted to let this function return out some sort of a value, and we wanted to print out that value manually onto our application. So for that we are going to delete this part, and now we are going to use a return keyword, and we wanted to have that month, right? This function is returning something out. So for that reason we have to change this function is returning integer value. So we have to change that to integer, and after that whatever the value that we are going to get by providing this value, we wanted to store it into a new variable. So let's call this variable month pay. Whatever the value that we are going to get from this, we wanted to print out manually. So for that we are going to use a print statement. Your pay for the month is, use a string interpolation and provide this value right over here. Now hit run. As you see, we have got the same output as before. If you go ahead and comment this line out, and if you run this application, you're going to get only this value. So because we are having some return value over here, we are manually printing out this value right over here. So as you can see, we have two types of functions: a function which returns nothing out but what you manually tell it to do, and another function return out some of the values that you can manually print it. So this is the difference between return type function and non-return type function.